Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com, here with another wonderful Eloquence box of the complete Deutsche Grammophon recordings of Andrei Gavrilov. Now, Gavrilov is a very, very interesting artistic personality and an interesting story. This box is reviewed marvelously and in great detail by Jed Disler at ClassicsToday.com. So if you are a ClassicsToday.com insider member, please go read Jed's review and listen to the sound samples as well. He's a lot smarter than I am when it comes to this stuff. But, because Jed reviewed it, I always have to listen to whatever one of our critics do because I'm curious about it. I wasn't, I've heard some of this stuff, but I wasn't going to give it much attention. But Jed got piqued my curiosity. And so I pulled it out and I plonked it on, and I found I had a similar but sometimes a little bit different reaction than Jed did. Now, Gavrilov, a lot of his recordings originated on EMI, now Warner, and would be nice to see them reissued. Then he jumped ship to Deutsche Grammophon, and in the middle of that, there are, 10 discs here. He basically retired. He quit. He gave it up. And he gave it up because he was dissatisfied with both the business, which is so many things to be dissatisfied about, but also where it was taking him artistically and how he felt about it personally. He just couldn't deal with it. Didn't want to deal with it. He's a very, very gifted artist. And so he retired, and he's been essentially retired ever since. So this is, on the one hand, an interesting disc, set, and then it tells us, about an interesting and important artist, where he was at the time, but also sort of suggestions of what might have been. Gavrilov, when he was young, had a reputation as something of a banger. A pianist who was into virtuosity, but not so much into the intellectual side of things. But it's fascinating because so much of his music, his repertoire was devoted, for example, to Bach. You could see where he wanted to go and where he wanted to be. And I had a somewhat different reaction than Jed did, because I kind of like a little banging here and there. I mean, so does Jed actually, but I find his banging to be kind of fun to listen to when he bangs. For example, in the Goldberg variations, some of them are like lightning fast. Some of them are really it's very pianistic Bach. And I thought it was fresh and exciting. I always enjoyed it. I always did, probably because I didn't at the time know as much about Bach as I do now, about what's right and wrong. I just listened to it as a piano piece, and I thought it was so much fun. I really did. So Disc 1 here, it features the Goldberg variations. Disc 2 gives you all the French suites, which also have some really splendid moments. Some of the dance movements, or maybe they're a little bit manic here and there, but it doesn't bother me. It really doesn't. I like I said, I enjoy it. I enjoy a little banging now and again. The Schubert impromptus, let's see, D899 and 935, they're somewhat hit and miss. We don't need to talk about which one's hit and which one's miss. You will have your favorites, I'm sure. But there's some variability there, quite clearly. Then the Chopin Second Piano Sonata and the 4 Ballades. I like the Second Piano Sonata. Oh, I always like this performance. It's just, I think it's really sort of hell for leather and gripping. Jed doesn't like the finale. If you read, the Classics Today review so much, he finds it somewhat heedless. I find it also heedless, but I like it. I still like it. So there you go. The ballades, a couple of them are really good, and a couple of them are a little bit less good, but like I said, there's something there. Then he did the Grieg lyric pieces. This is a tribute sort of to Emil Gilels and his classic Grieg lyric pieces disc, also on Deutsche Grammophon, and it's just as good. It's absolutely first-class Grieg playing. Each piece is characterized and beautifully shaped. It's just a wonderful, wonderful disc. Then we've got Prokofiev Piano Sonatas 3, 7, and 8, which you'd think would be wonderful because he's a banger. He'll bang his way through them. And yes, indeed, some of them bang quite well. Finale of number 7 bangs nicely. Others, well, I don't think he's quite caught the more lyrical elements or the more emotionally expressive aspects of some of the slow movements. But okay, it's hit and miss. Again, it's a curate's egg. That's what they call it, right? In the British world or universe. Then we've got Prokofiev here, some Romeo and Juliet bits, a Suggestion Diabolique, the Prelude, Opus 12, number 7, and Ravel's Gaspard, and of course the Pavane for a Dead Princess. Gaspard was one of his signature works. He plays it marvelously. It's exciting and spooky by turns. I think it's really, really fine. And that's one of his, like I said, it's definitely something you want to hear by him. Let's put it that way. And if you're a Ravel Gaspardian or Gaspardeuse, if you're female, then you'll definitely want to hear this Gaspard. It's just great. I love Gaspard a lot. Don't we all? Gaspard de la Nuit. We love it. We all love it. I mean, who doesn't like that? It's one of the great piano works in the history of the universe, and one that pianists have really gone to town on. I mean, DG alone, you've got Pogorelich, you've got Argerich, but this is up there. This is one of the really good ones. It's terrific. Then he did a bunch of Britain things, including the Golden Vanity with the Vienna Boys Choir. What a curious disc this is. It tells us, he does, let's see, Songs from Friday Afternoon, excerpts from the Holiday Diary, the Ballad of Little Musgrave and Lady Bernard, and the Golden Vanity. It shows you that he was attempting to follow more interesting pathways toward the end of his career on DG. You could see where he wanted to go. You could tell that he wasn't satisfied just doing the same old, same old. And it's just a pity that he didn't continue along those lines. It's a very good performance. Of course, we have Britain's own, with English-speaking boys instead of strange little Austrian boys in sailor suits. But that's okay. I mean, it's a very, very worthy effort, a beautiful disc. And then lastly but not leastly, we have Stravinsky, the Scherzo alla Russe, Concerto for two pianos, Sonata for two pianos, and The Rite of Spring with Ashkenazi. Fantastic. The two of them just bang the crap out of everything, and it's wonderful and brilliant and just great, and I'm awfully glad it's here. So that sums up this particular box of Andrei Gavrilov. I mean, my opinions are, some are similar to Jed's, some are not. You can pick and choose whoever you want. I would never suggest that you choose Jed over me, but give this a shot and see what you think. Thank you very much for joining me. Keep on listening. Take care.